Good morning, New Oxford Middle School. Last week, I was asked by a former student of mine to speak to you about kindness, as this is Kindness Week. When I asked her what I should say, she said, "Tell a story." If you talk to the 8th graders that I had the privilege to teach, or my current 7th graders, I'm sure they will tell you that I like to tell stories. My storytelling ranges from my earliest days as a child to the more recent stories, those that include my travels to places filled with beauty and awe, with magic, with mystery. I immediately knew what story to tell, so thank you, Mackenzie, our guidance team, and our administration for this opportunity to tell you a story about kindness. I'm going to tell you the story of a man who had lost all hope, a man beaten down by the world in which he lived, a man full of despair and desperation, a man trying to find a purpose, a man whose heart was filled with bitterness. And that man was me. This is not only a story about kindness, but one that I believe may give some of you hope in a world that can sometimes be very cruel. It is a story of how my life was gravely changed by the kindness of a total stranger. So here's my story for you, a stranger's kindness. What did I do to deserve this? Is the world punishing me for something I did? Why does it seem like my world is collapsing around me? Rock bottom. It's when you reach the all-time low point in your life. It's not a fun place to be. My past was haunting me, and the demons had gripped their claws deep into my soul. A heart filled with anger, hatred, despise, and vengeance was all I knew. The world, my life, it was broken, and I was left to fix it, and it felt like I had to fix it alone. Sleepless night after sleepless night, tear after tear, day after day. I could not shake the feelings within me. I was fed up with life, with society, and with people. I was in desperation mode, looking for anything to breathe life back into me. It was summer of 2020, the year of COVID. A great friend of mine, Miss Karkoff, was going on a trip with her friend to Glacier National Park in Montana, and something about it sparked my interest. After talking with her a few times, she convinced me I should take a trip of my own, and that's what I did. I packed up enough clothes for 2 weeks, a cooler full of food, camping equipment, and off I drove to the west. No itinerary, no plan, heading blindlessly into places I didn't even know existed. Many of those who knew my mental state were fearful for me, and to other people, it just sounded like a lot of fun. I had a mixed bag of emotions, but anxiety and fear were high on the list. Where am I going to sleep? Am I going to be safe? What if my truck breaks down? What if I encounter a grizzly bear or a mountain lion? What if I catch COVID? My mind was stuck on all the bad things that could happen. But despite my insecurities, I pulled away from my driveway on July 7th, 2020, in search of answers to questions that appeared to have no solutions. Fast forward 3 days to July 10th, 2020, just before 3 p.m. A ferocious storm was dropping golf ball-sized hail just 2 miles to the north. I was the storm's southern tip, standing in the meadow as the winds whipped through the high grasses. My eyes couldn't believe the geological feature that protruded 867 feet into the Wyoming sky. It was Devil's Tower. I was taking picture after picture, trying to capture the dark grays and blacks of the stormy sky when he stumbled up behind me. "Can I take your picture?" he asked. He began taking pictures on my iPhone and had me posing in different positions to get just the right shot. At the time, I didn't realize it, but that simple gesture of asking to take my picture would be the catalyst to rebuilding my life. A simple act of kindness, an act so small that normally it would have gone unnoticed. It was the beginning of a friendship that to this day leaves a mark deeper than any wound I have ever felt. My life was about to be restored thanks to the kindness of a total stranger. His skin a different color, his age a little older, his build much stronger. Our differences on the outside were very clear. But as our conversation continued, it was apparent that some of the battles within us were much the same. I had found a stranger who was not so strange at all. Someone who I could relate to, someone in which to confide my deepest insecurities. As the afternoon slowly passed and our conversations continued, Eric posed to me a 3-word question that still rings in my mind quite regularly. Bitter or better? Did I want to continue living a bitter life? A life tarnished with anger, hostility, regret, hatred, and vengeance? Or did I want to get better, living a life of love, humility, compassion, and kindness? The obvious choice was to get better and to be better. But how? The answer? Forgiveness. I started by forgiving myself for my wrongdoings, for my actions and inactions that had negatively affected my life and the lives of others. I was not innocent in my downward spiral, but I needed to stop hating myself. Then I forgave those in my past who I felt had done me wrong. I did not tell them personally, but I forgave them in my heart. A hardened heart is one that contains emotions of bitterness. And as I removed the feelings of resentment and revenge, I found myself in a place of peace and calmness. True forgiveness of oneself and of others was the opposite of bitterness, and it was the secret to making myself better. Eric and I talked a while longer that afternoon, and he told me to come back to Devil's Tower that night. He said the Milky Way would be in the prime location to take pictures before the moon rose over the horizon. That night, I laid under the stars for a few hours in the grassy meadows at Devil's Tower, reflecting on Eric's question, bitter or better? And then I went to find him. He was there, taking all sorts of photos with his expensive equipment. We talked a while, and then parted ways. I spent the next 2 weeks exploring the national parks in Montana, Wyoming, and Utah, where I encountered even more strangers who left their marks of kindness on my soul. In those 2 weeks, I began the process of forgiving myself and others, healing the wounds that had left the deepest marks. I had departed on my journey on July 7th, 2020, a broken and weak man. On July 29th, I returned feeling much differently, stronger, more confident, and passionate, ready to improve my world. And it all came back to one simple thing, a small act of kindness by a total stranger. Do a good deed, lend someone your ear, give good advice. A total stranger did those things for me and changed my life. Be kind to each other and love each other. Kindness and love are gifts that each of us can give that cost us absolutely nothing. Look at yourself in the mirror every day and forgive yourself for the mistakes you've made. Look at tomorrow as an opportunity to grow and make changes for the better. Forgive all those who have done you wrong. Forgive your family. Forgive your friends. Forgive your enemies. Cleanse your heart and mind and spread kindness wherever your life may take you. Lastly, be kind to strangers, for sometimes the answers that you seek will be found in the people that you have yet to meet. Have a great day and spend it well.